What's going on, everybody? This video is about the drill press and also hand drills. So anytime that you need to make a hole or drill out a certain amount of material, these are going to be your two. If you want more accuracy, you're going to go ahead and use the drill press. And then if you are kind of just doing some prototyping and you're not 100% sure, or it's something that you can't get at it and put it onto this platform, maybe a larger piece, then you're going to use that hand drill. So let's go over first what we can do with this drill press. Now, I have this clamp, this tabletop clamp here, set up on top of one of the drill press in here. So you use this especially if you're going to have to make a hole into a workpiece that you really don't want to get your fingers next to, right? And you can clamp this onto the workplace of the drill press. But I would say most of the time you won't have to do that. Most of the time you'll have a cut or a hole to bore out that's a little bit easy and you're not too worried about getting your fingers caught. But if you are making a hole and you're worried about getting your fingers too close, this is what you're going to be using. You clamp your piece inside of this vise, and then you clamp the vise to the tabletop or to the worktop of this drill press. All right. If you need any clarification on how to set it up, because sometimes it can get a little tricky, right? Sometimes you got a lot of moving parts. Just ask your instructor and they'll be able to figure it out. Okay, next thing is let's talk about how to adjust the height of this worktop, right? If you've got your workpiece too far away from where the drill bit is, it's gonna be cumbersome, right? You're gonna have to take this handle here that's on the right-hand side and lower it and plunge it into your workpiece, right? If you're gonna have to do too much turning, it's not gonna get there sometimes, right? So the best way to avoid having this occur, where you can hit your hand or something can, I actually just hit my thumb, it hurt a little bit. And even though I knew it was coming, instead, take your workpiece off and you're gonna notice a small little adjuster knob here that you can put counterclockwise, remember lefty-loosey, righty-tighty, and then you'll just raise that whole platform up, right? And then you can tighten that back up. And now, what do you know? There's plenty of space for me as I pull through on this portion. You'll notice that that's gonna go right into my piece. All right, let me get some safety goggles on. Let's try and make a cut here. Now, normally I'd be standing up. It's a little weird to be at eye level here, but I'm going to go ahead and make this cut just so you can see what I'm doing on camera. So let's imagine that I made this circle here on this scrap piece of wood. Looks like somebody had a bunch of math they were doing over here. But let's say I went ahead and I'm gonna go ahead and punch a hole through that portion. Before I actually do so, I'm gonna make sure a couple things. I can get my hands in a nice position where I'm gonna be able to sturdily hold this piece onto the platform. And I'm also gonna check, like right there I did it just by a quick look and I was off. It looks like I need to move that piece over until right there. And so now I've even touched the workpiece just a little bit with that drill bit. And now I'm gonna go ahead and I'm ready to cut. And just like your scroll saw, you do need to make sure you have a safety key in, so make sure you ask your instructor for a safety key, and then you're good to go. So now I have my platform adjusted, I have my workpiece right where I want it. I'm gonna go ahead and show you what happens if you don't securely fix down your piece. And you can see that kind of just jumped up just a little bit, even if I exaggerated it. But what might happen is you go to make a cut, and as you turn the machine on, it kind of jumps up at you and it scares you. So the best way to avoid that is make sure that you're holding your workpiece firmly so it doesn't begin to spin or jump up when you're trying to make an accurate cut. That's pretty much everything. If you get to a point where you're like, okay, I'm not cutting deep enough, you can go ahead and play around with these depth adjustment knobs here, and they'll help you get this this depth a little. You'll notice that I can change how far or how shallow of a cut it is. Another thing that you'll want to experiment around with once you've made your first couple cuts is changing the drill bit here. In order to do that, you'll notice that at the top of each of our drill presses there's a chuck key. You'll go ahead and pop this chuck key right off, and you'll notice that the chuck, or the piece of the drill press that holds that drill bit in, is right there, and you can go ahead and move that counterclockwise, and after that you can actually do it by hand once you've untightened it. And you notice that my drill bit fell right out. And so then you would just replace the drill bit by first placing this in. I'll go through the bottom here. And it's always easiest to hand tighten first. And once it's hand tightened, you machine tighten it by using this and going clockwise. Now let's say that you had a piece that you wanted to drill a hole into, but you couldn't get it to fit into the drill press, or it was just an awkward shape that you're not able to get onto the work platform. That is when you're going to switch and use to a hand drill. Now, this is not going to be as accurate, right? It's difficult to tell if you've got a perfect 90-degree angle. Also, as much as you want to think that you've got good control over your hands are going to be wobbly, and so it's going to make it a little bit difficult to have that same level of accuracy. So if you can, try and use the drill press first. Only see the hand drill as sort of a, all right, I'm speeding up something that I need to just assemble, or I simply can't get at this piece. So, same way that you opened and closed the chuck is exactly the same thing you're going to do here. You can notice those teeth moving up and down, which is going to clamp your drill bit. Kind of cumbersome to do it by hand, right? So on the lowest setting, I'm going to put this at 1 and 1. At the lowest setting, another way to do it is you can just hold on to that chuck, and you'll notice that those teeth are now moving. To reverse the flow, you'll go ahead and click this button, and now it's going to go from clockwise to counterclockwise. And you'll notice as I hold that, it's going to tighten up. And you see how it would close itself around the drill bit that you want. Let me grab a drill bit. So as you put the drill bit in, you want to make sure, I've just got a small, I'm not sure, I didn't look at the measurement here, just a small drill bit. You want to make sure that it's in between those 3 teeth, right? So start from a spot that the drill bit can barely fit in. Great. Just a little bit more. All right, and you can see that that's right in the center of the 3 teeth there. Now I'm going to go ahead, turn the drill into the clockwise position, and then I'm going to hold this chuck, and you'll notice it'll make that noise. That noise is essentially telling you, hey, you've reached the limit. I'm now snugly in place. And when you are going to make one of these cuts, you really don't want this cut to be just with your hand, right? This is not a safe thing to do. So instead, you're going to clamp your piece into your tabletop vise. And like I said, it's really wobbly, right? So don't make any drill press, don't drill anything up here far away from where you're clamped. You want to be as close to that clamp as possible where that mechanical advantage doesn't make this all wobbly, right? So a good way to do this is place the tip of the drill right on top of where you're trying to go, and try and make this in one motion. You don't want it to be like, oh, I'm going in, I kind of got stuck, I don't know what to do. You want it to just be a nice, easy push and then right out. Notice that I didn't turn the drill, to stop the drill once I was in. I'm going to go all the way through, make my hole, and then come out and let the trigger go. That just makes it so you're not going to get stuck, right? That makes it so your workpiece, if you get something stuck in there, sometimes it can be hard to get started again. So the best thing to do is just go all the way in, bore your hole, pull it out, then release the trigger. Like I said, this is still a power tool. It might feel like you have a lot of freedom, but a lot of times people will get fingers or gloves or something caught in and it'll twist their hand really hard. I've definitely done that a good number of times myself. So still need to practice a lot of safety here. Make sure you don't have baggy clothes. Make sure if you do have long hair, you've got it tied behind your neck. Make sure that you are focused and nobody's distracting you, just like all general safety rules. So those are our 2 drilling options. Use them wisely. Even though they seem to be safer, they will still hurt you, so please be careful.